Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Lyons Den Quiz League Season 11 Open Tournament. So this is a mid-season thing curated by Saluna and Saluna alone. He did all of the quizzes, in addition to doing about half of them for the regular season. So he's an absolute legend for this. So this is just kind of between seasons 11 and 12. We get some extra questions. This is intended to be a little bit harder than the regular sets of questions, which is why some of the quizzes have really low averages on them, especially quizzes 2 and 6. But I'm just going to try my best on these, and we shall see how they go. Quiz number 1. How many basic positions are there in classical ballet? This number is a Fermat prime, Mersenne prime exponent, and a Fibonacci number. So Fibonacci numbers are 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, etc. So it's a prime number. So I don't know what a Fermat prime is, or a Mersenne prime. I should know what these things are, but I always forget, because there's a lot of types of primes. However, I mean, if it's one of the Fibonacci numbers, it's probably 2, 3, 5, or 13. I doubt it's anything more than that, because that would be a little ridiculous for how many basic positions are there. 2 seems too low. That seems like just, I don't know, that doesn't seem right. 3 also seems quite low, but I'm not quite as sure about that one. Like, it could be 3. I'm thinking it's either 5 or 13, but to be honest, I don't really know how to choose between them. They're both prime numbers. They're both reasonable. I think for number of basic positions in ballet, I think 5 seems a little more reasonable, but 13 is possible. I don't know. I'm just going to go with 5 and hope for the best here. In Exodus, what final plague convinces Pharaoh to let the Israelites leave Egypt? The Passover sacrifice recalls the time when the Lord passed over the houses of the Israelites in Egypt during this plague. So this is, I don't know anything about the Bible. I know that there are 10 plagues, and I know like a couple of them. I think death of the firstborn child is one of them. Locusts is one of them. I think like raining blood or something. There's some like crazy stuff. I'm gonna say death of firstborn child, because I know that this is one of them, and I think it could be the last one. Like, I feel like maybe the last one is like you're more likely to have heard of it because it's more significant for that. So I don't think like locusts is the last one. I don't know. Passing over the houses might be a clue, but I'm not really sure what that would signify. So I'm just gonna guess this and hope that it's the right one. Philippe Petit is a former French high-wire artist who gained fame through the 70s for his unauthorized walks. Petit walked between the towers of Notre Dame in 1971, the Tower of the Sydney Harbour Bridge in 1973, and between what other coupled set of buildings in 1974. So my thoughts here were the Petronas Towers in Kuala Lumpur and the Twin Towers in New York. And honestly, I think I'm just going to say the Twin Towers. 74, like, I don't know when they were built. Like, obviously they were gone before I even, like, have memories of being alive, so I don't really know that much about them when they were constructed, how long that they stood. But I think the Malaysia ones are probably newer than that, if anything. I think that Twin Towers just makes a lot more sense, and coupled set of buildings, it's like it's probably just that. And I also have heard of somebody walking across the Twin Towers on a tightrope. I just didn't know the name. But there's also probably multiple people who did that, maybe. What Native American was born Goyathle, meaning he who yawns? His name, ironically, is now occasionally yelled when jumping from an airplane because U.S. paratroopers in 1940 were inspired by a Western movie about him and used it to signal fearlessness. So I think it's probably Geronimo, because that's what people say when they, like, do something bold, like Geronimo, like if you jump, right? That just is kind of a association that I have in my head, and I know that Geronimo was a famous chief. I think he was an Apache. I'm not positive about that one, but anyway, it should be Geronimo. Number 5, what day of the week did the Bengals wish it was in Manic Monday? Quaker Christians call this day the first day in accordance with their testimony of simplicity. So just another Manic Monday. I wish it was Sunday. That's my fun day. I don't have to run day or whatever. So I'm not gonna sing it. Sorry, but it should be Sunday. And then an amateur astronomer attempting a Messier marathon, Tarantino's The Hateful Eight, and a 1984 song by Murray Head that implies that this time period makes a hard man humble, all share the distinction of taking place over what length of time. So the Murray Head song is One Night in Bangkok, makes a hard man humble. So one night, presumably. Messier marathon. I mean, the Messier catalog is like all of the Is it galaxies or stars? I forget what the Messier catalog actually is, but it's definitely a famous astronomical thing. So a marathon could be like seeing all of them in the same night or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, should be one night. Well, it is because of one night in Bangkok. And then as for enhancing, I don't feel very good about questions 1 and 2. 4 feels a little easier. 5 could be good, but I don't know. 6 feels harder. I think I should enhance 6 here. And again, 3 like might be right, but even if it is, it's probably not that hard. So I'll go with 6, and we'll see. It is 5. The death of the first. Wait, that's what I said. Let's go. Okay. World Trade Center, Geronimo Sunday, one night. I actually got 6 out of 6 on that. That's crazy. I did not. I really didn't think. Wow, that's nuts. Okay, so as many Messier objects as possible in one night. That makes sense. Hateful Eight takes place in one night. Would not have known that, but I did know the song. Isn't it from like, is it Chess or something? The musical? I might be making that up, but anyway, it's kind of a weird song, but I'm just kind of aware of it. Anyway, Death of the Firstborn is a crazy poll. It's like I know like literally like 2 or 3 of the plagues, and it's like that's so fortunate that not only did I happen to know the correct one, but I also happen to guess it. That is very lucky. Okay. Quiz 2 is connections. This is a really freaking hard quiz. You saw the average was like 2 point whatever on this, and I mean, there's a reason. The first one, what connects these 4 clues? Fluorescent pen invented by Francis Hahn, Hari Seldon first appearance, American rosé wines, an explanatory note from Greek for tongue. I have no idea what's going on here. Like, I thought the explanatory note could be like addendum or appendix or something. Both of those sound a lot more Latin than Greek to me. Um, so they're probably wrong, but I don't know what the hell any of the rest of this is, like not even close. So I'm just going to say internal organs because that's what an appendix is, and I have nothing else. Number 2, what connects these 4? 1941 in Roman numerals, 2013 Sonic video game, Nebraska State Capitol, and maxillae and mandibles. So maxillae and mandibles are like jaw things. They're like jaw bones. And Nebraska State Capitol's Lincoln. And then 1941. I mean, so I don't know what the Sonic thing is, but I was thinking, okay, like Jaws could be what's going on because Lincoln, I see Lincoln, and I know that that's a movie. Jaws is, of course, a movie. 1941 probably might be a movie. I mean, I know there are a lot of movies named after years. I don't know that particular movie, but I would definitely believe that it's a movie. Is the camera like a little high? I don't know. Anyway, so I was thinking, okay, what connects these movies? I know that Jaws is Spielberg, and I know that Lincoln features Daniel Day-Lewis. I'm pretty sure Jaws doesn't, so that doesn't work. They could both be Spielberg. Like, I don't know who directed Lincoln. It could be Spielberg. I didn't think it was, but like, maybe. And I think that that's the best thing that I'm going to come up with here because I don't really know much about the other two. I hope that this is at least a movie thing. But I'm not quite sure that this is what's going on. But I know that Jaws is Spielberg, and it's really the best guess I can come up with because I don't know how else to connect those two movies. So we'll see. What connects these 4? Oil company merged with Standard in 1985, period preceding Cretaceous, pre-celluloid billiard ball material, and Spanish for little fly. So before the Cretaceous is the Jurassic, Spanish for little fly. I mean, I know that fly in Italian is mosca, and I assume it's something similar in Spanish. So I was trying to extrapolate, like, okay, little in Spanish is just like ito or ita. So like mosca, ito got me to mosquito. So it's like, okay, we have Jurassic and mosquito, and the thing that popped into my head for that was coasts. The Jurassic Coast is a World Heritage Site in Dorset, I think. It's a thing. There's like the White Cliffs at Dover that are like further east, but the Jurassic Coast is like the other thing on the south coast of England, but that's like really not that obvious at all. And then Mosquito Coast is the east coast of like Nicaragua and a little bit of Honduras, is kind of a famous historical region over there. Both of those honestly pretty deep cuts, and like I think this is a very, very difficult one, but I do think it's probably right because I don't know how else you would connect Jurassic and mosquito, so hopefully that's what's going on. Number 4, What comes forth in this sequence? 1930 Uruguay, 1934 Italy, 1954 West Germany. So I figured out that this is World Cups where the host nation won, I have to assume is what's going on, because Uruguay won the first World Cup, which was in Uruguay. And I just have to assume that that's what the others are, because it's like I don't know the rest of this. Like I don't know World Cup history that well, but it's like why would we be skip? Like it's not just the first four World Cups, because we wouldn't be skipping 20 years. So that's my guess for what's going on. The thing is, like, I don't know what's next. Um, I don't really know World Cups before I was born, or at least with. I know. I think '98 was France, and I want to say France won, but it might have been Brazil. I don't actually remember. But I am going to say 1998 France, because I cannot name like any of the World Cups between 54 and 98. Like, I mean, I know what years they were, but I don't know who won them or who hosted them. And then after that, I don't think any host has won since, as far as I'm aware. Like 02 was Korea, Japan, 06 was Germany, 10 was South Africa, 14 was Brazil, and 18 was Russia, etc. Right? The host didn't win any of those times. I'm still not positive that France actually won in '98, but I'm fairly certain that they hosted. So I feel decent about this guess. But again, there could be something before this, and it's like if there is, I'm done for. So we'll see what comes forth in this sequence. This is the one that probably stumped me the most, because I still have zero clue what is happening here. Like zero clue at all. I have thought about this for a while, because I'm like, this feels like it should be gettable. I do a lot of like Only Connect. I play in an online league where we actually just won the entire league. Like we my Only Connect team recently became the best Only Connect team in the US. Which is like, okay, I'm pretty decent at these types of questions normally. But this one is like, I don't know if I've ever been this stumped. Like, I don't know if I'm overlooking something obvious, but I have zero idea what is going on here. Like, no connection has come to my head. I've been staring at this for quite a while, and I have nothing. So I'm going to say Alabama, because, I don't know, it could come after Mississippi, but I got no clue. Finally, number 6, what comes forth in this sequence? Rule the Seven Seas, not invited to a birthday party, wants one of her daughters to marry the prince. Once again, I don't know what's happening here. My thought is that this could be like a Disney thing. Because Rule the Seven Seas gives me like Ursula vibes. And then not invited to a birthday party. Like I don't know. These feel like they could be like Disney villains or something. Like it all sounds kind of like Saluna's writing these questions, and he's like the type of guy to write a Disney question. So I don't know. That's kind of like what I'm thinking here. But the problem is, like, I don't know enough about anything. Like, I don't know what the sequence is. Like, if we're starting with The Little Mermaid and then going to whatever the hell these are, like, one of them might be like Cinderella. Who's the villain in Like, I don't even know who the villain is in Cinderella. The point being, I'm not really sure what to do with this. And I don't even know if I came up with an answer for this. Let me pause for a second, see if I can come up with something. Okay, so I just spent a couple minutes trying to think of a Disney villain because I couldn't even like think of many. I'm gonna say wants to be king, because it could be like Scar from The Lion King, right? Like he like kills Mufasa because he wants to be king or whatever. I don't know. I haven't seen that movie in like a decade plus, but um, I don't know. It sounds like Disney stuff, but it might not be Disney stuff at all. Hopefully, there will at least be an explanation so we can like kind of see what's happening. But this is just an insanely hard set of questions, and I honestly don't feel very confident about anything other than number 3, coasts. So I'm definitely going to enhance that, and I think it's a pretty good one to enhance because I think it's quite hard, but everything is just quite hard. So, yeah, we're gonna see what this yields, but this is a crazy quiz. Bicycles. Sure. Makeup. My God, what? Highlighter, foundation, blush, gloss. Good Lord. I mean, I thought of highlighter, like, because it's like a fluorescent pen or whatever, but it's like that didn't help me. I was like, I don't know what highlighter would be. It makes sense that I didn't know what was going on there, because like Holy, gloss is like the Greek thing, I guess, like glossary, I guess, maybe. I don't know. Foundation. I blush is that's what rosé is? I thought that was like Martinelli's with like raspberry or something. Good lord, dude. I could not have been farther from that. Oh my god. Spielberg movies is correct. Coasts is correct. 1958 Brazil is so hard. My god. Oh, it's first time winners? Oh, interesting. Oh, so I was just wrong. Oh, fascinating. So wait, was there a repeat winner every year from like 34 to 54 or whatever it was? Even though there were only two winners total? That's kind of insane. I mean, they probably skipped it once because of like World War II, but really? Wow. Okay. Honestly, I thought it was going to be host nations because of Uruguay, but I guess I was just wrong. That's kind of nuts. Okay. Yeah, never getting that. Any word where the vowels are O. Really? Really? That's it? I was looking for some like crazy connection and that's all it was? Oh my Casablanca. Are you kidding me, dude? I looked at that for that long and it was just vowels A-E-I-O. That's honestly, given how hard the rest of the questions were, I really was thinking that was going to be something way, way more complicated than that. And I just overlooked the obvious. Wants to be the fairest in the land. Motivations of the villains of the first four Disney princess movies going back in time. Dude. Okay. Well, I was right that it was Disney. I didn't know what the sequence was because I had no idea what like time period we were even in because I didn't know what anything was other than one of them. I was like, yeah, Ursula's probably one of them, but I didn't know what else was going on. I think the first one is Snow White. Um and who the hell is the villain in Snow White? Like is it just like a witch or something? Isn't it like bro, I don't even know. I don't even know. Like, I guess that's the motivation of the villain in Snow White, whom I cannot even name. So I did have the right idea. It was Disney villains, so I'm glad that I got that far. Although I don't know why it said rule the seven seas rather than wants to rule the seven seas because that one was also like confusing me. Like, why is this one formatted differently? Anyway, wouldn't have got it anyway because like wants to be the fair. I'm so far away from ever getting that correct. Holy crap. Okay, so I got 2 out of 6. I do genuinely think that Coasts is hard, so I feel pretty good about that one. But I'm annoyed about question 5 because I was staring at that looking for some like deep connection and I got nothing and it was just freaking vowels. Oh man. Okay, I'm going to move on from that. Okay, quiz 3. What couple held two bed-ins for peace in 1969 at the Hilton in Amsterdam and the Queen Elizabeth Hotel in Montreal? The Hilton occurred during their honeymoon as the couple had been married on March 20th of that year, just 5 days before the bed-in began. I don't know, but this is like the most like John Lennon and Yoko Ono coded thing I've ever read. And I feel like I've vaguely heard of this before, but like bed-ins for peace in the 60s just sounds like John Lennon and Yoko Ono, so hopefully that's what's going on. Number 2, what slogan is painted on the nose of Robert Duvall's Wagner blasting helicopter in Apocalypse Now? The phrase, translated to Latin as Mors ab alto, is the motto of the U.S. Air Force 7th Bomb Wing. Like Mors ab alto, like death by height, like I don't know, it's something like that, but like Morse surely means death, and alto has to do with flying or height or whatever. But I don't know exactly what this is supposed to be. Like I know I'm gonna have to get the correct phrase, but I don't know what it is. So I'm just gonna say this and hope it's this. Number 3. Coined by author Herbert Warren Wind in a 1958 SI article, on what golf course would you find oh my god, the three tricky holes named Amen Corner? Since 1934, the golf course and its associated club have hosted one of the four men's major golf championships. The only golf course I can name that hosts one of the four men's major golf championships is Augusta National in Augusta, Georgia, which hosts the Masters, I believe. I don't know anything about golf, but that's just a thing. And it's like, yeah, this is probably correct. I mean, it sounds like it's probably American, and I think that how many of the major championships are American? I don't even know that either. Whatever. I'm going to say this because I have nothing else. What 1959 Dave Brubeck quartet piece borrows its name from its unusual time signature? Shares its name with a short-lived American boy band and a brand of Reese's candy bar introduced by the Hershey Company in 2004. Um, Take Five is what this is called. The one that's like doo 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 doo. Anyway, the Reese's candy bar is definitely a thing, and we'll probably give it away for some people. I don't know the boy band, but yeah, this is just a pretty famous piece. What actor gained prominence as George Michael Bluth on Arrested Development before playing Evan? God, I cannot read right now. Evan in Superbad and Scott Pilgrim in Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I very recently watched Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which is fortunate because I wouldn't have been sure otherwise, but it's Michael Cera. I have seen Superbad, but there are multiple actors in that movie. Like I might have said Jonah Hill or something. But yeah, should be Michael Cera. And finally, question 6. What instrument, a type of miniature flute, gets a rare solo at the end of John Philip Sousa's Stars and Stripes Forever? Word also alternatively represents a type of horse or a quarter-size bottle of champagne. My God, I just got off of a flight. I've had a long day. That's my excuse here, but man, I cannot read right now. Miniature flute, I'm not sure. The best guess I could come up with was piccolo, because I think that's what that is, roughly. But I've never heard of a piccolo horse, and I have never heard of piccolo champagne bottles, so definitely might be wrong, but I can't think of a better guess, so that's what I'm going with. And then enhancing, I think I just go with Take Five. I don't think it's that hard, but I think Sarah is easier. Piccolo, I don't feel good enough about. Same with number 3. 2 is I feel even less good about, and then number 1, I'm either wrong or it's easy, so I think I'm just gonna enhance 4, and we'll see. Cars, sure. Yep, it is Lennon and Ono. Death from Above. Okay, that's annoying. Augusta National, Take 5, Michael Cera, Piccolo. 5 out of 6 on pop culture. Totally taking that. Wasn't the hardest of quizzes, but yeah. Death, I said death by height or something. Realistically, that makes a lot more sense. Like death by height, what the hell does that even mean? But whatever. I was just trying to think of things that could fit, and I probably didn't give it quite enough thought. But yeah, whatever. I've never heard that, so 5 out of 6 is fine by me. Quiz 4 is science. Name the organ where you would find nephrons, loops of Henle, and Bowman's capsules. Humans have 2 of this organ located in the retroperitoneal space. Nephrons and loops of Henle are kidney things. I don't know that much else about them, but I don't know. Those are just kidney things. The K in vitamin K stands for the Danish spelling of what 11-letter word that denotes the process by which blood achieves hemostasis. So like Danish spelling starting with a K makes me think the US or English spelling is going to start with a C. But I couldn't really think of anything good for this. I thought of circulation, like that is an 11-letter word. But the fact that it starts with a soft C is a little worrying. And also, like, is that really what's going on? Like, hemostasis, I don't know. That just sounds like blood being balanced. So I guess when blood is moving and circulating, then it is in stasis. So, sure, I guess. I don't know. But is it in state? Like, does stasis mean balance, or does it mean, like, being like stopped or like still? I don't know, man. I don't know what hemostasis is. Like I don't really like this guess, but I can't think of anything else, or I thought for a while and just kind of got nothing. So I'm just gonna go with this, but I don't know. It feels wrong to me. What was not banned in the United States until 1972, nearly a full decade after Rachel Carson wrote Silent Spring? This chemical was originally used in the second half of World War II to limit the spread of insect-borne diseases, malaria, and typhus. So Silent Spring was about DDT, I believe. Again, I don't know too much on this subject, but DDT is just, I don't know, that's what you guessed anyway. Question 4, the pinna is the outer visible part of the ear. What salt-forming chemical elements name the type of high-temperature lamps used for stage lighting and car headlights? This group of chemical elements is the only periodic table group that contains elements in 3 of the main states of matter at standard temperature and pressure. So I believe it's the halogens, because fluorine and chlorine are gases at STP, and then bromine is a liquid, and then iodine is a solid, and the ones below it probably are as well, although they also probably aren't stable. But yeah, that should be right. And then number 6, what distinction do a German physicist named Gabriel, a Swedish astronomer named Anders, and an Irish engineer named William Thomson share? Took me a sec here, but I think these are temperature scale namesakes because Anders kind of clued me in because I'd heard the name Anders Celsius before, and I was like, who are these people? And Anders eventually clicked for me. I was like, oh wait, yeah, Celsius was named Anders. I assume Gabriel is Fahrenheit, and then William Thompson is probably Lord Kelvin. I thought he was Scottish, not Irish for some reason, but I think I'm just wrong. Um, but yeah, that's presumably who Lord Kelvin is. So I feel pretty good about that one. Glad I was able to reason it out. And then I don't know what to enhance honestly because I feel like the ones that I like maybe I just enhance number six. Like I don't think it's free. Like if you don't know Anders Celsius, like it's reasonably hard. The rest of these just feel very gettable. Like DDT is just very knowable. Ear is not hard, I don't think. Halogens again, totally gettable. Kidneys very knowable, and I don't feel good about two. So yeah, I'm gonna go with six, and we'll see. Is that it? No, there are two. Kidneys coagulate. Really? Okay. I guess I should have. Ah, yeah. Okay. It's 5 out of 6. I'm a little annoyed about number two now that I see the answer because I was asking myself, does stasis mean like balance or does it mean like staying in place? And it might. I guess it does just mean staying in place, right? Because like blood stops when it scabs, right? So that actually makes perfect sense. I don't know why I didn't like continue down that thought process. I was just. I don't know. That was kind of silly of me. I like that. That makes a lot of sense, but I don't know. Sometimes your brain just doesn't think of the obvious thing. Unlucky. Okay, quiz 5. Geography. What city's famous glass is made principally on the island of Murano? Production shifted to this island northeast of the main city in the 13th century. This is Venice. Murano is the famous glass island off the coast of Venice. What is the largest island in the Society Islands archipelago? The island was formed from volcanic activity in two overlapping parts, giving it a distinct two-lobed appearance. The two halves are known as blank Nui and blank Iti. So Society Islands are in French Polynesia. So what's an island in French Polynesia that has two lobes? Presumably Tahiti. If it's anything else, then this is a crazy hard question, but I think it's surely Tahiti. Number 3, in what country was the last original Volkswagen Beetle produced in July 2003? Nicknamed Vocho, in this country, the cars had been produced here since 1954, after being introduced in an exhibition titled Alemania y su Industria. Cuba, I guess. I mean, country with old cars like the US. I mean, there are like a bunch of old American cars in Cuba, very famously. So I'm thinking that's just probably what's going on. I don't really know any of the question content, but I just have to guess Cuba here. In Greek and Roman mythology, what is the name of the Queen of Ethiopia and mother of Andromeda, who lends her name to a northern constellation that includes the star Skidar? Pretty sure that this is Cassiopeia. I hope I'm not confusing it with something else, but Mother of Andromeda, I'm pretty sure is Cassiopeia, and it's a fairly famous constellation shaped like a W. I don't know the names of the stars or anything, but I think that's what's happening here. Number 5, what brownish crimson color named from the French for chestnut is the field on the flag of Qatar? Vajrayana Buddhist monks such as the Dalai Lama wear robes of the shade of red. So this one, like, I was trying to think of the French word for chestnut, and I think I did. I think, although I might be confusing it with another type of nut because there are a lot of French nut words, but I think châtaigne. There should be a hat over the first A, but anyway, can't do that on this keyboard. I think that's the word for chestnut, although it might be another kind of nut. I don't know. Like I thought of like, noisette, for example, is a hazelnut, and there's like pistache for pistachio, etc. And the other ones are just like noix something or other. But I think this is the word for chestnut. So I'm gonna say that because I don't have any better guess. I've never heard of that as a color, but I don't know the names for a lot of colors, so it makes sense I wouldn't know that. But yeah, hopefully the French knowledge just carries me there. I'm kind of glad that I managed to even think of that word because at this point my French vocabulary is so diminished from what it used to be. That's kind of sad. But yeah, I think that means chestnut. So we'll see. The duduk, a double reed woodwind made of apricot wood. Kachkars, medieval Christian carved memorial steels. Lavash, a thin, typically leavened flatbread baked in a tandoor or on a sage. And the traditional form of blacksmithing practice in the town of Gyumri are all included on the UNESCO lists of intangible cultural heritage representing Armenia. Gyumri is, for a geography crowd, is pretty gettable. Gyumri is the second largest city in Armenia. And if you don't know that, I don't know. this isn't easy. Kachkars are pretty cool. I've posted pictures of them when I do my daily subdivisions because they come up a lot in pictures of Armenia, but they're very beautiful. But anyway, Gyumri is going to be most people's way into that question, and I think that makes it a good deal easier. So I think for enhancing, I think I go Cassiopeia because this feels a little bit less geography than the others. And again, I don't feel great about like number 5, for example. Like, I think that's the word for chestnut, but I might be misremembering, and also it could even be another word or some form of it. And then I just think that Venice, Tahiti, and Armenia are a little bit on the easier side, so we'll see. And then again, Cuba as well. I mean, Cuba could be wrong, but like if it's wrong, I don't know what the heck I would put for that. So like, I think I gotta just stick with it. And if it is Cuba, then I think a lot of people will get it right. Bridges, okay. We have Venice, Tahiti, Mexico. Mexico? What? Okay. Cassiopeia, maroon? What the hell? Maroon? How is it maroon? Is it marron? Is that the word for chestnut? I guess marron is the name for a nut. But, oh man. I didn't realize, okay, I guess I did get it confused with another nut because I thought, for some reason, I thought châtaigne was a chestnut, but, okay. Maroon, huh? But marron, that's so annoying because in French, the word marron just means brown. Like that just straight up means brown. That is the word for brown. So like I'm not even gonna think of that. Like I guess yeah, I mean I guess maroon has a different meaning in English, so like that makes sense, but marron. I forgot that there was a type of nut called a marron in French, to be quite honest with you. I should have known, but yeah, that sucks. Okay. I thought I might have that correct, but I did not. Alas, the you know, diminishing amount of French knowledge that I still have did not help me in that case. But 4 out of 6, Cassiopeia was right, got the enhanced, so not so bad in the end. And then Mexico, I don't know how not to say Cuba there, to be honest. Like, I'm always saying Cuba for that. I was in Mexico today. Like, I just flew back from Mexico, and I've never heard of any of this stuff in that question, so unlucky. Quiz 6. Arts and Lit. Slaughterhouse 5 was inspired by the firebombing of what German city, which Kurt Vonnegut observed in person. The Frauenkirche, one of the symbols of this city, was nearly entirely destroyed during the bombing, but has since been rebuilt. This is Dresden. The firebombing of Dresden is a fairly famous historical event. Number 2, who shocked the public with his 1863 painting Luncheon on the Grass. Originally titled Le Bain, this painting depicts a nude woman and a scantily dressed bathing woman at a picnic with 2 fully dressed men. This French Impressionist realist painter is also famous for his work Olympia. This is Edouard Manet. I think Lunch on the Grass is probably his most famous work. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, doing a lot of Quiz Bowl and doing a lot of arts and literature. That's just, I think, fairly straightforward. Number 3, what character who, like all infants, used to be part bird, led a gang of children who were lost in Kensington Gardens. Today it stands in bronze in that London park. I'm still not sure this question is grammatically correct, but anyway, I don't know what's going on here, and I thought about this for a while because it's like this should be obvious, like what's happening here, and I could not think of anything. I'm gonna say Paddington, because this is, I don't know, it's a famous story associated with London, and I've never read it nor seen any of the movies or anything, so I have no idea what Paddington Bear actually does. Did Paddington Bear used to be part bird? Probably not. No, but I can't think of a better guess. I mean, did he lead a gang of children who were lost in Kensington Gardens? Maybe. Definitely could have done that, so I'm just going to hope that that is a thing that happened. Number 4, which Alice in Wonderland character is a reference to its author, Lewis Carroll, who used to stutter when saying his own name? Thought about this for a while. I also have no idea. Like, I was thinking it could be like Tweedledee or Tweedledum, but it's like, it could be either of them, so it's like, it's not just going to be one of them. But the problem is, I can't think of another character that makes any sense for this, like Queen of Hearts or March Hare or White Rabbit or Cheshire Cat or whatever. I've been trying to think of characters and I cannot think of anything else, so I'm going to say Tweedledum, but I don't think it's going to be right because, again, I think if it was one of those two, it would specify, or it would say name both or something like that. So I don't feel very good about that. Number 5, what novel opens with the traditional Lithuanian wedding feast of the Rudkus family? Writer Jack London called this novel the Uncle Tom's Cabin of Wage Slavery. This should be The Jungle by Upton Sinclair. Jurgis Rudkus is the protagonist of The Jungle. Not easy at all, but again, Rudkus family is just like, I just kind of know that as a buzzword for Quiz Bowl. And then finally, number 6, Mark Twain's celebrated jumping frog of Calaveras County was named for what famous American orator? He was the 14th and 19th U.S. Secretary of State, argued over 200 cases before the Supreme Court in his career. This is Daniel Webster, because the celebrated jumping frog of Calaveras County is named Daniel Webster. It's like D-A-N-apostrophe-L. Webster is just the name of the frog from the Twain book. Again, it's pretty hard to get Webster from just these clues unless you really know your American history very well. But I just know the name of the character, so it helps to know the literature stuff. Very difficult quiz, to be honest, but I got by reasonably well, I think, because I know arts and lit better than most categories. Enhancing, I don't know. I think I'll go with 5, although I think 5 and 6 are both quite hard. 3 and 4 I don't feel good about. 1 and 2 I think are slightly easier. I don't know whether to go for Jungle or Webster. I don't know what's more well known, but I'm just going to go with the Jungle and hope that that's the right thing for me to do. We'll see. Dresden, Monet, Peter Pan. Wow, the Dodo? Jesus. Jungle and Webster. Okay, I mean, that's what I expected. There's a dodo in Alice in Wonderland? What? I had no idea that was a character. Like, that's crazy. I mean, I've never seen the movie or read the book, so serves me right, I guess. But I legit had no idea that was a character, so that is not happening. Peter Pan. What? What in the world? Used to be part bird, led kids through Kensington Gardens? What? That is just not... Like, didn't he live in, like, Neverland? Was he, like, chilling in London on his off day or something? Like, okay, that is, again, I was nowhere near that. It was like a British children's character, but I had no idea which one. And I did not guess the right one, so unfortunate. Also, part bird, not sure what's up with that either, but, whatever. 4 out of 6, I'll take it. Finally, quiz number 7. How are we doing time-wise? Not so bad. Okay, what hero of the War of 1812 established his own kingdom, called Campeche, at Galveston, Texas, until disappearing overnight in 1823? His birthplace is unknown, but was likely either Biarritz in France or Saint-Domingue in the Caribbean, which are very different places. I guess Saint-Domingue was a French colony. Is that what it was called before it became Haiti, I think? Anyway... No idea what's going on here either. I mean, it makes sense that a Saluna history quiz would be a very hard history quiz, but I don't know what the heck's happening here. I'm going to guess, like, Houston, I guess. This is probably an awful guess. Like, Sam Houston. Like, I know that he's, like, a Texan hero or whatever, but War of 1812, like, I think he was after that, if anything. Like, maybe more like Mexican-American War. And I don't think of him as, like... well, a guy who was born in the Caribbean or, like, established a kingdom in Galveston. Like, none of that sounds right to me, but I can't think of another guess for this. Or other than, like Stephen F. Austin or something. I'm trying to, like, think of people associated with Texas, but to be honest, I have no clue what this is, and it wouldn't even shock me if I've never even heard of the answer. Number 2, in 1521, who burned his copy of the Decet Romanum Pontificem, the papal bull excommunicating him? In response to another papal bull issued by Leo X, this figure would begin his defense with the statement, "I cannot and will not recant anything. Here I stand." Not sure, but I'm gonna guess Luther here. The thing that scares me is that I think of Martin Luther as being a little more late than this. I thought he was more like mid to late 1500s. 1521 feels early to me. But I could just be wrong because I don't have much of a mental timeline, and it's like a guy who got excommunicated around this time and didn't regret it. Just kind of sounds like Martin Luther to me. I just can't think of another guess for this. So going with that. Number 3, in what church was the 20th century's first unknown soldier buried? He was given a state funeral and buried on November 11th, 1920, simultaneously with a similar interment of a French unknown soldier at the Arc de Triomphe in Paris, France. No idea. I'm just gonna have to guess something random. I'll guess St. Paul's in London. I'm thinking, what are some famous churches? There's St. Peter's in the Vatican. There's St. Basil's in Moscow. There's St. Paul's in London. It's like if the other one is in Paris, it makes sense. If it's like somewhere close to Paris, and it's like, what's a church that's famous enough to be asked about? St. Paul's is the first one that comes to mind, so we'll just go with that. What structure was named for Pope Sixtus IV when it was consecrated in a 1483 Mass? A famous modification occurred between 1508 and 1512 under the patronage of Pope Julius II. By the way, I'm pretty sure there have been 5 popes named Sixtus. Whenever there's like a new pope or whatever, can we please get a Sixtus the Sixth? Like, how has this not happened? How has nobody been like, okay, yeah, I have to be Sixtus the Sixth? Like, someone's got to do it, right? Like, I don't know. You can't just be called Sixtus and then stop at 5. It's ridiculous. Anyway, should be the Sistine Chapel. That is, Sixtus IV is who the Sistine Chapel is named after. Sistine, Sixtus. I don't think that's a super easy connection to make if you haven't heard of it before, but that's just what this is. Number 5, which country declared independence from Belgian colonial rule on July 1st, 1962, becoming a republic after abolishing its monarchy in 1961 referendum? The Hutu-dominated government was led by the first president of this nation, Gregoire Kayibanda. This is probably Rwanda, or I don't know it, but like Hutu dominated, you'd have to say Rwanda, right? It could be like Burundi or something, maybe, but I don't think it's going to be like the DRC, because the Hutus, I don't think, would be there, or at least not dominating the government. I don't know. I just see Hutu and I have to say Rwanda. Like, if it's not that, then fair enough. Like, you got me, but I think this is just what I have to say. And finally, number 6, name any year in the life of Byzantine Emperor Justinian II, the last of the Heraclian dynasty, famed for his attempts at restoring the Roman Empire. Other events that occurred during the lifetime of Justinian II were the 20-day reign of Pope Sisinnius, the invention of Greek fire by Callinicos, as described by Theophanes, and the overthrow of Chinese Empress Wu Zetian. Freaking year questions. He had to make the last question of the whole thing a year question. I thought I was done with this nonsense. But yeah, we had a whole quiz of this earlier in the season, and it was kind of rough for me. Very difficult. Again, I just kind of have to vibe guess these things. I know that Empress Wu is like Tang Dynasty, which, again, that's kind of the best anchor that I have for this, because I don't know anything else. Byzantine Emperor, okay, it's like, Western Roman Empire fell in like 400 something, so you like Byzantine is like, the whatever 500 or so years after that, probably, or maybe 1,000. I don't know how long the Byzantine Empire lasted. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm like Tang Dynasty, like I'm thinking it's like 700s or 800s, and I'm not really sure why I think that, but that's just kind of where my brain is at. I'm gonna go with 750 and just call it a day. Again, it's a total guess. It's probably not correct, but I don't know anything about the other clues here, so yeah, we're going with that. Enhancing. I feel like Luther is easy if it is Luther. Sistine Chapel. Rwanda is easy if it is Rwanda. Houston is not going to be correct. St. Paul's could be right, but again, I don't feel anywhere near confident enough about this. I think I have to enhance 4, even though I don't think that's that hard either. I think it's harder than the other ones that I feel good about, so we're just going to go with that. And for the final time in the video, we shall see how it turns out. Jean Lafitte. I have heard of him. He's like a French, like, pirate, isn't he? Man. Yeah, that actually makes sense. I guess I should know that, but I don't know enough about his life, apparently. Luther is correct. Westminster Abbey. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I got the right freaking city, and I guess the wrong church. Westminster Abbey makes a lot more sense, so, maybe I should be using my brain. I don't know. I was like, St. Paul's is a cathedral in London. We'll just go with that. But, yeah. No, Westminster Abbey checks out. That would have been a good thing for me to think of. That is unfortunate. Sistine Chapel, Rwanda, and then I said 750, so no dice on that one. I wasn't that far away, at least, but it was wrong. So, okay. That's all right. Like what? 3 out of 6 on that is. It's not terrible, but Westminster Abbey, for God's sake. Okay. Happens. Okay, not my best performance on that one, but oh my gosh, wow. That was very quick grading. Okay, apparently the Sistine Chapel one, the get rate was 81%, so that was not hard. However, I got 0.83 for the jungle, which looks like that enhance was optimal, which is good. Geography was, I may as well just like go over the results here. Cassiopeia, interesting. So 57% of people got that. That's actually a little higher than I expected the get rate to be on that one. Looks like there were slightly harder questions there, although I might have gotten them wrong. 5.6 on the STEM quiz, right? Because I missed the coagulation one, but I got the temperature scales, and looks like that was actually the hardest one because I don't see anyone getting more points for that. So that's nice. 5.48 on the pop culture, 6.48 was the max. So again, I enhanced optimally there. That was the take 5 question. That was the hardest question on the quiz. That's interesting. I would not have guessed that. Huh. Okay. I would have thought that like Piccolo or Death from Above would be harder than that, but apparently not. Okay. I'll take it. Connection sequences, yeah, that was just kind of nasty. But yeah, 0.74 is... Yeah, that may actually have been the hardest one. That's the... Oh, no, never mind. There's a 0.81. Okay, so somebody was confident enough to enhance whatever this one is. But it looks like the Coasts one was the second hardest one. So even though I only got 2 of them correct, I'm glad I got that one. Because it was quite tough. And then General Knowledge, 6.65. I got the gold medal on that one. So I enhanced optimally once again with the one night question. Very nice. Okay, that's going to do it for the LDQL Season 11 Open. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. Season 12 will be probably pretty soon. I don't actually know when it's planned to come up, but probably within a few weeks, I would guess. Maybe around the start of February or something. But I look forward to it when it happens. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little bonus video, and I will see you again for the next one. Until then.